these paranormal news stories. The most paranormal of all news stories that we like to cover are the UFO sightings. I've been seeing so many really crazy looking planes here in our area of Tampa Bay. We have a big military base, central command for the military based in our area. So of course we're going to see some old school and new school stuff that's out of the ordinary in our area. But still, there's a lot of lights out there. Kyle, have any sightings went down over the weekend?
Yeah, actually in Bakersfield, California, they had a bunch of people in this neighborhood on a couple streets. They noticed a mysterious blue light, and it was pretty high up in the air, and it was kind of moving around a little bit, and then to much of their surprise, it completely went out and just disappeared. And it's not the first time it's happened. It's happened several times. You got many people in this neighborhood coming out saying they've noticed the same exact thing. And it's kind of a crazy thing. I mean, the news, I think, is the local news there, 23 ABC. They covered this story. Lindsay Adams.
Just above those trees right there, and then migrated northwest.
Oh, there it goes sideways.
It pretty much flew, stopped, and then started doing some upward motion and downward motion. So I've never seen anything like that.
In all of your 23 years living here, have you ever seen anything?
Nothing. No, nothing. You know, we'll see the police helicopter every once in a while, or an airplane go by. It's pretty common, but nothing like this.
Did you hear that, Matt?
Did you see that?
The neighbors I spoke with in the Southwest say they first witnessed the light back in February and again last month, and both times they saw it on the 14th.
It's a recurring
Even stranger,
light.
They caught this flash of light on video appearing just to the left of the blue light.
Last time we saw it, it had a white flash. Like it looked like lightning.
Ooh, taking pictures?
And all of a sudden, we just didn't see it anymore, and it was gone.
I took the videos to Senior Deputy Victor Kesey with the Kern County Sheriff's Department, whose office works closely in conjunction with neighboring Meadowsfield Airport.
I'm not aware of any calls that we've received regarding any blue lights or any strange lights in that area. Very seldom, if
Could have been
ever,
paid off
have I seen anything like that. However, you know, we are in the age of drones now. You know, obviously we have military drones, but there are civilian drones and drones for purchase. So, you know, that is a possibility.
It's way too high up in the sky to be a drone.
It wasn't a regular airplane
wait a minute.
or a drone. It was much bigger than a drone would be, especially at that distance.
So
these people are serious, man.
Yeah, these people are. I mean, they know what they saw, man, and that's the typical government, I think, response. We haven't had any reports, and it's probably
that's weird.
Just that's
Mike,
interesting.
Given your expert analysis, of course, you've watched all 3 of the major Alien movies, including the shitty third one, and even Signs. You watched that. What do you think about this story?
Well, I mean, obviously these people were rattled by something. Enough to, you know, keep track of it and keep looking for it.
They look spooked.
Yeah, they saw it again. So obviously something is going on here. We don't have any hard evidence, any footage. So it's tough to say, you know, if it is indeed real. But it's obviously very troubling to these people who saw it.
Scary. Raspo, what do you think here? This is crazy stuff. It's a recurring light. Are you taking anything out of that?
I am, and I'm also taking something out of the fact that it was both on the 14 days that
on the 14th month.
I mean, that's pretty important, I think, for it to be.
It could be an airport, though, right? Local airport, recurring lights, maybe the airplanes, perhaps
on the 14th.
Well,
what's special about that?
The problem is that the object, they were saying, moves up and down. So they're like, it can't be a plane. It wasn't. It just stayed in the same spot, but it would move like left to right. And then they do have video footage of this, and you can actually see it in one of the shots. It actually looks like it takes a picture. There's a flash that comes off of it. So, I mean, it's pretty high up. Maybe Google's doing like a new closer aerial view or something.
Yeah.
They haven't told anybody about.
Damn you, Google.
But when I'm looking at this, me and Mark had, when we were leaving the BRN one night, this was like 2 weeks ago, we noticed some like blue-looking like ball thing, a similar thing, and it like fell out of the sky and it disappeared, and we both saw it. So this thing kind of looks a little similar to what we saw, but I think what these people saw is a little bigger than what we saw.
Interesting. The reports that I've been reading about over the weekend were from MUFON, which is the actual official UFO directory, and a lot of people have been talking about cigar-shaped UFOs lately. There was one report out of Georgia where a military personnel, she actually had a military background, reported watching a cigar-shaped UFO being followed by a black helicopter. The testimony happened over the weekend. The witness spent 6 years in the military, with 4 of those years working with special operations. Most recently worked as a contractor for the Army training troops before they deployed to a combat zone, earning 2 awards from the U.S. Army Special Forces. The witness says that they have seen every type of aircraft and helicopter that the branch has, and they reported seeing a straight-up cigar-shaped UFO being chased by a helicopter. My idea with this, Raspo, is maybe it's just a plane from sideways in the sun. Maybe it's just kind of fucking with you to think it's a cigar shape. What's your theory?
I mean, that's a good theory. I think also, though, we got to look at it from the other angle, is that most of these UFO sightings have been cigar-shaped. So if that's the case where we're seeing more and more of them, to me it means that one of them has got to be real.
Ah, really? K-Mac, what's your trippy take?
I mean, you're getting more and more stuff coming out, and these people are all kind of on the same page. So it's just tough for me to think that there'd be some extraterrestrial being that would travel this far just to kind of like fly around in our skies and not do anything else but just fly around and
yeah, right.
You know, waste all that time coming here and then just be in our skies flying around. I really think it's a lot of top secret government shit that we're never going to find out about and they're going to deny. You know, different ways of spying on people, different ways, of getting aircraft off that, no one knows what it is. And I think that's what we're starting to see here.
Mike, before you give us your opinion, I have to give you another story here with more cigar UFOs in Nebraska. An Omaha witness reported watching 3 cylinder-shaped objects flying slowly in formation. So more cylinder UFOs. The witness stepped outside at about 11:20 p.m., so this is another late-night sighting here back in May 30th, and noticed an object crossing the sky that could not be identified. She said, "My first thought was that it was so quiet because usually if a plane flies overhead, I can hear it all too well." And they did notice, of course, more cylinder objects approaching. What do you think about cylinder UFOs?
I mean, cylinder UFOs are definitely one of the weirdest out of all of them. I've seen a couple different odd videos that definitely look real. I mean, they definitely don't look like the normal fake UFO videos. Mm-hmm. It's just, one is actually a cigar shaped, and it's a jet actually going along, just driving along, and the cigar shaped UFO is sort of chasing the jet. It's sort of creepy. I think it's a Russian fighter jet.
Really?
Yeah, and it's Russians. It's actual military video.
Interesting.
It's very trippy.
It would be funny if these cigar-shaped UFOs, if they actually blew out tobacco smoke on the back of them.
Nice. That would all make sense then.
Yeah.
And the person here actually was extremely scared from the cigar cylinder-shaped UFOs. She had to run right back into her house. She felt uneasy. And she said, "That's when I realized that it just didn't look like a plane. No blinking red or white lights, no apparent wings, no sound. She has 20/20 vision, and there was a bit of a moon out, so I saw it pretty well," she said. "It was just odd. I'd like to know what it was. Maybe it was something ordinary like a plane, just not one I'd ever seen before. She wishes she knew." That was sighted in Omaha, the largest city in the state of Nebraska. Now, Mike, you're looking at an extremely trippy UFO over there. What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is a UFO, but it's definitely very trippy. It's a very eerie video that shows a bizarre black ring hovering over a village
and this
before
is real, right?
It vanishes into thin air. Right, yeah, it's definitely real. It's crazy video. I'm going to try to post this up to the
Trippy Show email and the Facebook?
Yes, if you can get that on the Twitter as well.
Oh, yeah. Nice. So it's a black ring. I know you were looking at this before the show, Kyle, and you said that this looks like an actual natural phenomenon. I thought it was fake at first because it's just such an awkward shape. It looks like when you do a puff of smoke out, but just very skinny and like at the end of it, flying through the air above a neighborhood.
You kind of hit the nail on the head there because it's actually known as a vortex ring or a smoke ring. Now, something like this one here, because it's so big and the way it's moving, I'm sure this was created by somebody and then they filmed it. But pretty much what it is, it's just pretty much dirt and stuff, and it's just the wind. I guess there's I think you read a little bit about this. It was like one of the high pressure and a low or something like that.
Yeah. Basically, it's when let's see, it's
or cold air, a massive warm and cold air, like
right. Well, it's a vortex ring or a smoke ring. It's basically formed in the atmosphere by a rising or falling mass of warm or cold air, which is also called a thermal or microburst.
Because what happens at the end, I mean, when I first saw this at the beginning, I'm like, damn, what the hell is that thing? And it's moving, it looks really crazy, and the guy kind of zooms in, and you start noticing at the end of the video, the dirt and stuff just kind of starts going all over the place as it loses its power. So I guess it's kind of like a sideways tornado that's kind of just around and looped in a circle.
Yeah, I've seen actually clouds have this formation up in the air. It's an extremely rare cloud formation that happens just in certain, I guess, climates and conditions.
Yeah.
But this can actually be artificially created, like you said.
That's what I'm thinking. It looks like a clear day, not much wind blowing. I think they, whoever took this video or posted this video probably found out a way to create one of these, and they did it themselves.
Still, it's cool either way.
Yeah.
Now, we have another really trippy UFO story that we have to talk about. I got to get your opinion on this, Raspo. Is this person just crazy? Is it all in their head? Or could this be real? You have a witness in Ohio that had a strong feeling to drive to a certain location. So he and his friend saw a black triangle-shaped UFO, according to testimony over the weekend. The witness's story begins at about 8:30 p.m. back on October 3rd of 2002, a few days before his 18th birthday. He had a strong feeling to go for a drive with his girlfriend and another friend. He said, "My friend asked where to, and the same voice from earlier told me to go to the metro parks." The three drove around the metro parks for about an hour until the voice told him that this was the spot. He told his friend to pull over, and they sat there outside the car listening to the radio for about 20 minutes, still wondering what they were doing there. I looked up toward the tree line and saw something big flying real slow just above the trees. So they actually witnessed the UFO right then and there. After being told to go to the spot, the radio of their vehicle shut off. He says, "My girlfriend freaked out, jumped in the driver's seat and frantically tried to start the car, but it wouldn't start. I've heard of this happening, but was astonished that it was actually true. I told her it wasn't going to start, and just to relax, another car was driving down the road as the object came closer, and that car stalled out also."
Ooh.
This sounds like a scene from a pretty creepy movie.
So, at the end here, sorry to cut you off.
No problem at all. Do you believe the story so far, Raspo, or do you cast this off as people that are crazy?
So far, so good. I'm with it. I'm with it so far.
I want to know what they were on.
Exactly. Yes. The object was a black triangle with a white light on each corner of the bottom with a larger white light in the middle. It looked a lot like the black triangle from Belgium in 1989. That was a huge sighting for those of you who know that one, but it was a lot bigger. It flew in at a slow crawl. They were able to walk faster than the UFO. So that's an interesting part of the story there, Maddie. It was as long as a football field and about 3 stories tall, looked all black until the moonlight hit it, and then they could see the metallic coloring. It also had a window on its right side. Of course, you travel all across the stars, you got to make sure you have a window. And toward the top, it was about a 20-foot long window and 3 foot high that they could see the light coming from. Seeing the window upset the witness because he said he could see the inside of the object. Quote, "There was something on the inside that could look out."
Oh, man.
You would be scared as fuck, wouldn't you, Maddie?
Yeah. I mean, definitely to see something, I think people are just in general afraid of the unknown, and that's why people are a lot of times afraid of aliens and UFOs and
nighttime.
And nighttime.
And your car stalling.
What they don't know about.
Giant object approaching.
In this case, that story that you told was just pretty crazy to have all these things happen, in the middle of the night when you're just trying to do your thing.
At that point, you actually have to do something, right? And they did, right? They picked up a rock and threw it at the UFO.
Now, why would you do that?
He's saying that he thinks he hit it because it looked like some kind of force field came up around it. Best way he can describe it.
These guys are smoking crack.
It was a really hot day when you could see the steam coming up. And, of course, that's what it looked like to them.
The force field came up and...
Then they began walking towards the object. They walked within 50 feet of it and could hear it making a low-pitched pulsating hum. And they could actually feel static electricity pulsating throughout their body.
Wow.
They yelled
what does that feel like?
Of course, he yelled to his friend and said, "Can you hear it?" But they actually said they couldn't hear it. They walked directly under it for a couple of minutes, in which time they had a conversation in their head, but it was still unclear. All they remember hearing at the end was that they're coming and we have to go.
Wow.
It should be a movie.
I was going to say that. It sounds like a movie script.
Yeah, there's one thing I'm noticing about this whole story. They're hearing a lot of voices and a lot of things in their head.
Yes.
Which leads me to believe they're clinically insane.
Getting signaled? Oh, I thought you were going to say they're actually getting signaled from the aliens, yeah.
All right, so then they're saying it then rose back above the tree line and continued on its original path. A couple minutes later, a military jet flew over, and a minute after that, two more right next to each other at the same exact altitude and direction that the one before it did. They jumped in the car, made sure they had all of the same things that they had, and they got out of there. The next morning, they woke up confused and feeling funny. They put on the shirt from the night before and realized they had a big pink blotch on the right shoulder. Nobody ever wanted to talk about it after that. This seems like the basic story of someone getting abducted. You think nothing happened, but really a bunch of time flew by.
So you think we should start digging and maybe have to live underground if these aliens are coming?
Well, here's my potential theory on this one, and this is pretty trippy, guys. What if we already have contacted aliens? They have given us futuristic alien technology, perhaps something we use in fiber optics, our cell phones, and in return, they are allowed to abduct us secretly. It's pretty trippy, but it could be true, Raspo.
It could be true. I don't know. For some reason, I was stuck on the thought of once the guy threw the rock, it would have been funny if an alien came out and we took the rock and threw it back at him. Was like, screw you! Don't throw that shit at my fucking spaceship, you son of a bitch.
It's like an alien, but it's speaking perfect English. It's like, fuck you, man.
Oh yeah, it can immediately aliens can immediately pick up on any language.
Well,
that's how I feel.
Yeah,
interesting.
And here's the thing: the pink blotch. What that stands for is you have been anally probed.
Yes.
So they were.
It was on the shoulder, Mike. Come on now.
Well, yeah, to make it clear that they were both probed.
They were anally probed.
Yes.
That was after they probed them. They patted him on the shoulder. Yeah. They were like, "Good job, good job with that."
Perhaps their hand was on their shoulder as they probed them.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a machine that holds them down as they're getting the probing, and it's got a pink thing on it, probably.
Mike seems to have some experience.
I was going to say, Mike, you know about the probing.
The voices told me.
I thought you said that was I thought you said that was a birthmark on your shoulder.
I gotta say, guys,
on my chest.
Oh boy, to our fans in Ohio, I mean, it is code blue in Ohio right now, guys. After this story of the abduction or the potential abduction, I mean, Ohio is currently at UFO alert level 5.